Welcome to Movie of the Year, the only podcast that has the science and the screaming to figure out what the best movie is of any given year. This year is 1996, and this is part 2 of the beginning of the season. So if you want to know the first battles of how we got here, go back a week in time. You don't have to do that. Podcasts are always out. It's out. Go listen to that first. And if you're like, no, I just want that real, welcome, everybody. I'm your host for the season, Mike, and with me are Greg.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. We can't be more clear about that.
Do what you want. We don't care. And Ryan.
Hey, Mike. Just real quick for the real heads, the Micah-roonies, the Greg heads,
Micah-roonies, the rhinos,
and the rhinos. We have in a week's time, we have received all of your emails about the Craft, the Frighteners, Beavis and Butthead Do America. Welcome to the Dollhouse. We are sorry.
Yes.
Most of those emails were from the directors of the films, and we have to say harsh words, but thank you for writing in. We appreciate it.
Love to get criticism.
Harsh, but unfair.
We're just 3 dudes. Like, we can only watch so many movies.
Right.
And we didn't create how fucking brackets work.
We didn't.
That was a mathematician a long time ago.
Yeah.
We would love to have all your movies in, much like I would love to have every basketball team win the NBA championship every year.
Dr. Jean Dubracket, you know?
So if you emailed about like, oh, that movie didn't make it, I bet you want all these kids to get a blue metal ribbon, don't you?
Oh, gosh.
You want
and
them
you know
to be
what?
drinking their Pabst Blue.
Thanks for your email. Honestly, we appreciate it.
And we are going to send you the official email blue ribbon.
You're
You
on
deserve it.
the list now.
I do think, Ryan, by reading off what we've been emailed about, you kind of talked about like the upsets, right? So should we just dive in, or is there anything else you feel like the listeners should know?
You want to get out of this intro, man. You are hosting so well this season. Like, let's cut the bullshit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cut the bullshit.
Whoever that Fraggle Naggle host was last season, like, let's not do it like that. Let's get into it. And so, yeah, with that, we're going to take the shortest of breaks. Mike, if you
No,
want
no, I say that. I say that. You just take over like that. I don't like that at all. It turned me on a little.
When we come back, we're going to get right into it.
No, now when I say it, now I can't say either of those things. We're taking a break and figuring this shit out. And then when we're coming back, more battles. Your 17th battle of your first round is your second seed. The beginning of this, so many numbers. It's crazy.
Yeah, we don't care what battle it is, Mike.
The second time of the
I
first one.
Helps me keep things in order. Second seed, Train Spotting. Wow, that's this year? What a crazy year this is. Versus your 63rd seed, Hamlet.
Wow.
All right.
Scottish people. Can we film them? Yes.
Wait, did you think they were vampires?
It's Hamlet?
No, but isn't this the period where the world was like, Scotland? What is up with books and movies? We want to know what you got, Scotland. Hit us with it.
Miramax, somebody at Miramax was like, I've heard that they are so dirty. We should get over there right now with cameras and do it. Hamlet, of course, the Great Dane.
The Great Dane. Don't say his name in a theater.
Remember what I said last week, guys, about the Crucible, about how it's just kind of just like a film play. Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet is not that at all.
Okay, what do you think about his Hamlet?
Oh, I think that this is a fucking, and I'm it's gonna lose. I'm gonna absolutely vote against it, but I think it is a stone cold masterpiece.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he made a decision to film every single line, so it's all in there.
God damn, I hate when Greg's like, "Wait, hold on, you tell me what you think about it, so then I can prove how dumb you are."
I saw that rope-a-dope coming.
Yeah.
Just because what it means is that even though it takes 4 hours, he has to say all the lines, and so he speaks very quickly most of the time.
Well, I watch all movies on 1.5 speed, so
right. Isn't that even harder to understand?
Just as hard as Train Spotting.
But up against Train Spotting, I don't know. Is there any chance?
I don't think I've said this in either of these shows so far. This is 1996. Train Spotting, like the poster, the music,
the drugs,
the baby on the ceiling,
the
poop
on the
swimming.
Oh man. Ryan, are you prepared for that now that you've had a baby?
Yeah, she doesn't go on the ceiling at all.
Really?
I need it in my life.
Such a good
she's
baby.
real chill.
I love when the baby stays on the not ceiling.
It gave us Danny Boyle and Ewan McGregor.
He climbs into the toilet. Remember? It's got Kelly MacDonald.
Yes.
Do you guys remember Kelly MacDonald in that movie?
Yeah, I
From
remember her
Boardwalk
specifically from this
Empire?
movie.
Of
Boardwalk
Empire fame. Very
And,
true.
The most quotable line in my head is when Ewan McGregor goes up to her to hit on her. One of the two Ewans in this movie.
There's too many Ewans.
The other guy's name is Ewan. And she dresses him down with like, oh, you think that you're stinky ass, like kind of cool, poetic self. Like the way that she talks to him in the bar is just running through my head at all times. This is one of those life-changing movies of like, I didn't know movies could be like this. There are better movies from this year. You know, Lahane does the same stuff that this movie does in a more direct, harder to watch way. Like where this movie almost goes from like, oh, this is independent film to, oh, this is very Hollywood. And yet still, there's no getting around Trainspotting, I think.
I was a kid and I watched this movie, or, I was in high school, and it was just too grim for little high school Greg. And I don't know if I'm any tougher than that now. No. It is a deeply, grim movie.
That time where Begbie comes through the walls with his fingers, like Freddy.
It is spooky and it's off-putting, but it's also as 96 as almost any other movie. This could have been the number one seed, right?
I think so, yeah.
Could have been, should have been, would have been.
Trainspotting for me, Mike. Also something I'm very good at in real life. Oh, there's one.
They're very slow. Ryan, how are you at Trainspotting?
I choose Trainspotting.
Trainspotting moves on. Your next battle is your 31st seed, Stealing Beauty, up against your 34th seed, the live-action 101 Dalmatians. Greg, tell us about Stealing Beauty.
Stealing Beauty is a beautiful movie, a coming-of-age story set in Italy, and it does such a good job of like filming Italy and showing how beautiful it is. It's full of complicated people and complicated relationships, and it's got Liv Tyler in it, and she is so beautiful. And it's about people disappointing her, essentially. But it's a nice, simple, beautiful, kind of occasionally awkward movie.
I didn't understand 101 Dalmatians because I didn't see the first 100, but like this is absolute bullshit. Like Tin Cup last week went up against like Citizen Kane, and Greg Stealing Beauty goes up against 101 Dalmatians.
It's pretty wild. So do you think we should push 101 Dalmatians forward out of protest?
That is a really good idea, Mike.
I don't even feel like this movie was big in 96. Was it? I mean, Mike, you were younger than us. Were you all about this movie?
Yeah, we would not have the Emma Stone starring Cruella, Harley Quinn ripping off Cruella without 101. Glenn Close is probably great in it, but it's not a good movie, guys. Sometimes kids' movies are very much worth watching.
Whereas, like, I feel like if we watch Stealing Beauty, that's a good show. I wonder, is it going to get past the next round?
But it's probably moving on. It's not getting to the Sweet 16.
It might, Ryan. It might.
If it's stealing more than beauty. If that
it's
happens.
called the Greg Bump, and it's very real.
Greg heads know it.
Greg heads know all about the Greg Bump.
Greg, what's crazy? You're feeling a little tired. You should probably go do a Greg Bump.
Go do a quick Greg's Bump.
Glenn Close played Norma Desmond from Sunset Boulevard on stage, and she said, "Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up," and not "Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my Glenn close-up." Is that a mistake?
You think in dress, she definitely said it the way you want it.
She can't help but say
it. They couldn't get through it. They laughed and laughed. All right, so Stealing Beauty moves on, upsetting everybody, especially all those poor little doggies we now have to put down.
Turn them into a coat.
Just make him a coat. Your 15th seed, it's another big night for Greg. It's Greg's big night versus your 50th seed, Kingpin.
Oh.
Low for Kingpin.
Yeah, where is society at with Kingpin these days? Amish comedy and Amity.
I feel like it had a resurgence like a decade ago and then unsurged again.
We're not big Randy Quaid fans anymore.
Deeply silly movie, but a lot of swings and misses, right?
That's bowling.
And kind of ultimately sort of like a mean comedy.
Of the three, Woody Harrelson, Bill Murray, and Randy Quaid, of the 3 stars, would you think that Woody Harrelson would be in the best standing in society right now?
Wow,
I would not have put money on that.
But good for him. And keeping it clean.
I'm kind of leaning that way, though. Is that weird? The Kingpin way?
Well, what's Big Night?
Big Night is Stanley Tucci and Tony Shalhoub, and it's like the 1950s, and they have a restaurant, and it's like they're not getting a lot of people coming into the restaurant, in part because Tony Shalhoub is a great cook, but he's like they're brothers, and he's like a perfectionist, and he's kind of a prima donna, and he doesn't give the people what they want. He gives them like the art of his cooking.
Wait, is this the movie about the two Italian brothers that have a restaurant, and then when that fails, they put on overalls and go through a pipe?
They go through a pipe, yeah. And then instead of using mushrooms to cook, they're stomping on mushrooms or
to
eating
get bigger
them for power-ups, yeah. It's honestly, it is a beautiful movie, and it shoots food in a very beautiful way.
Which I'm very interested to podcast about. Right?
Yeah.
Can we like deliver what the movie did visually, audially?
There are a couple scenes that are subtly genius that I would love to talk about. There are also a lot of moments where the movie feels like it's not living up to its potential. I feel like if you tell me I'm getting Tucci and Shalhoub, I'm like, that's already creating a high bar, and I feel like the movie doesn't always live up to that. But it is beautifully shot. It would make for a good episode. And there's at least one or two scenes I would love to talk about.
Ryan, do you have that much passion for Kingpin?
I don't think so.
Wilson Fisk's origin story?
There's some good-looking bowling balls in that. I do have to say, like Bill Murray's like rose bowling ball. That's gorgeous.
Mike, note for later, Wilson Fiskups. It's a cover band of Wilson Phillips, but just as the Kingpin singing.
Yes. Specifically Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin?
Of course.
Of course. Ryan, your vote.
This is a hard matchup. I would have loved for Kingpin to move on, but I don't think I can. It's Big Night. And that is two Greg movies in a row if that moves on.
Big Night.
That's what this feels like right now.
Honestly, any night where I'm with my two buds is a pretty big night.
No, we're trying to be mean to you. Stop it.
Oh, be mean to me, yeah. Just like my buds.
Greg Knight moves on. Your next battle, your 18th seed, Ghost in the Shell versus your 47th seed, No You Don't, Oprah, a.k.a. Sling Blade.
Oh, man. It's got to be Ghost in the Shell. This is one of the all-time most important animated movies.
Okay, but Greg, if we do Ghost in the Shell, you're not going to hear this voice, all right? Mm-hmm.
I know. But isn't Sling Blade kind of boring? Isn't it going to be kind of an awkward show?
It's so weird to watch Greg jerk off literally while Mike jerks off figuratively anytime anime comes up.
Oh, man. I would love to talk about Ghost in the Shell, especially because we talked about Akira, and this is like That
didn't go great, though.
No, but it was a good show. I thought it was a good show. Like, you don't have to, I don't, it doesn't have to, like, be that you love it.
Here's my argument. I don't
think you're going to love Ghost in the Shell. I think you're going to appreciate elements of it, and it makes for good conversation.
I don't need my argument. Greg just made it. Sling Blade, I think, is shockingly low here. Again, putting me out of touch. But this was such a big movie that spawned so much mockery in a good, loving way.
Yeah.
I think. Where Ghost in the Shell, to me, is almost not timeless, but like yearless. Like sometimes foreign movies, particularly Japanese animation, get released in such a way where like we're not sure what year to place them.
Yeah, that's true.
And also, they're so futuristic and of the past, the present, and the future at the same time that I definitely see as lowly seated as it is. I see an argument for Sling Blade here. I'm not sure if it's going to be a great movie or if it's going to be more Miramax, Sundance, pap of like, all right, look at that guy. He talks weird,
That's the thing. I feel like there's so many of those movies in this year where it's just like somebody plays someone with some mental disability or emotional impairment.
It's the Ben Stiller movie in Tropic Thunder, right?
Yeah.
Or it's his I Am Sam.
Mike, what are you thinking here?
So having never seen either of them, I could see merit in watching both. But Ghost in the Shell seems like it might be interesting, where I could be way off, but I feel like I know the beats I will get Sling Blade, and I will never see him on a date with Oprah, and that's infuriating.
I think Dwight Yoakam plays the bad guy. I don't want to see that. I like him as the good guy from King of the Hill.
I think Ghost in the Shell fits visually into a series of animated movies that we have watched. I think that there are weaknesses in the movie. There are some weaknesses, especially in the dubbed performances. and we can maybe talk about the difference between dubs and subs in that. But I don't know. I think that warts and all, I think Ghost in the Shell is very strong. The visual language created in that movie persisted throughout the 90s from that point forward, and like went into movies like The Matrix.
Yeah, I was gonna say affected live action.
Yeah,
a rare thing for a cartoon to do.
Yeah, totally.
Here's what I'm thinking right now. Every time that I give as much passion about a movie that Greg is giving right now, he votes with me. Every time that I do it, Mike votes against me, but Greg votes with me, so I think I've made my decision.
What's your vote, Ryan?
Ghost in the Shell. Let's do it. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell. Let's see what it goes against next round.
Oh, yeah. I like seeing the future knowing what'll break Greg's heart.
Oh, my heart.
But we're not there yet. Your next battle is your 7th seed From Dusk Till Dawn versus your 58th seed, Jack.
Wow. Thunderous Slammy D feels like here.
How many Coppolas have we done? Is it 0? No, we did the conversation, right?
No, we
didn't do the conversation.
No, I don't think we've done any.
And we won't this year.
And we won't this year because of Jack.
This can't be our first Coppola. And on that alone.
Baby's first Coppola is
We're
Jack?
not doing Jack.
It's so, even as a kid, this is one of those movies I remember watching and being like, what the fuck?
And from Dusk Till Dawn, I don't know if that movie has escaped the containment of 1996, but within the world of 1996, take it from a traveler from that antique land. Like, that was a big, big, big movie. Like, we all thought about that a lot.
Everybody's commentary was it switches genres halfway through. Like, that was their opinion of
the
movie.
Yeah.
What if we can do more than that?
We can go to new places.
What if we watch the first half of From Dusk Till Dawn and the second half of Jack?
Oh, I love it.
You know what? The way that this is lining up so that we don't have to watch Jack, I'm starting to also get excited about that.
Your votes. I'm going to need them, Ryan.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Greg.
Same.
Next up, what feels like just super Oscar baity. I know nothing about it except for that. Your 28th seed, 26th seed, The English Patient versus You're So Money, Baby, Swingers.
This is a pretty 96 battle. I think that both of these movies deserve to move on more than so many of the other battles.
Yes, I totally agree. Especially
crazy.
on the 96 element alone. Like, these are two of the biggest movies of 96. Swingers probably bigger in our demo, and then obviously English Patient bigger like overall. I mean, that's like the big one of the year, right? For like,
but no cultural footprint these days, I think.
These days at all. And is that strictly because of Elaine Bennis?
I think, I think Seinfeld murked this movie. I think what
was the bit?
She's like, she just hates the movie, and she's like, she gets roped into seeing it a second time, which I don't know, America, if you've ever done this. If you hate a movie, seeing it the second time in the theater, it's like agony. And she's just finally like, die. Just die already. I hate you. And I swear that has way more of a footprint than the entire English Patient does as a movie.
I mean, this was like the prelim to Shakespeare in Love, the prelim to Crash of does, what do you call it? Like Oscar promotion,
right?
Does like glad handing mean more than the actual quality of the movie itself? And the English Patient won. Everybody was like, huh. And it was a little bit of a phenomenon amongst a certain group of people who were like, oh, isn't this beautiful? But again, yeah, I think that the Swingers thumbprint is gone and now mocked.
Yeah.
But that sort of means a return of the thumbprint.
And it's so 96 because Swingers, it's a reference to something that was huge at the time, bafflingly so, audience.
Yeah.
Swing was back.
In the 90s, we loved the
swinging. 40s. not key parties. Not that type of swinging.
But no, Gap commercials had bands like Brian Setzer Orchestra in them.
I mean,
I feel confident in my pick.
The local rock station here, which is world famous, so I don't even know why I say local. K-Rock, every third song at this time was a ska or swing song because of this movie.
Yeah.
Horn
it was
Central.
so money. It didn't even know how money it was, but it was so
the one line we all remember.
Yeah, remember that line, America?
But also, it's interesting because isn't this Favreau's first? Or his first big one, at least?
This was, he wrote it.
He wrote it.
What's his name from The Bourne Identity and the OC?
Lyman,
wasn't it?
once jumped off a boat Because he had to go film Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Once stopped a long shoot during the OC because the FBI found his missing dog who had been missing for 5 years. Did you know that, Greg?
Good job, FBI. I wonder
if
how
this
much
was a
it
video
costs.
podcast, you could see me pointing to a book that has some of those anecdotes on my shelf behind me.
Oh, you needed a book for that? I just knew that. Yeah, Doug Liman directed this. I maybe we could talk about this in future where like the Oscar winner just gets one of the 16 spots so we can make fun of it, so we can like bash
The
it
best
out.
picture.
But I think it's going to get beat by a movie that made $3 million in the box office.
Yeah, I mean, do we care about the Oscars so much?
No,
just to hate on
that's
them.
kind of
Yeah.
That's kind of why we made the show, is because fuck the Oscars.
Yeah, so then we don't want to get roped into doing
But that's
their
you
garbage.
guys are way more rock and roll and punk rock and roll than I am. I don't care so much that I clearly do care.
Yeah.
Right.
But Swingers, it's just our cohort. It's not for everybody, but just for us. The truth for us is that Swingers was a way bigger movie.
We know what it was like to drive to Vegas for a night and party
Yeah,
our
dude.
balls off.
And hate every goddamn
And hate
second of it.
why did we
sucked.
do this? Because
It
this movie
sucked
told us we
shit.
had to.
And you
Greg,
would be-
what's your vote?
You'd be frowning, and then your friend would look at you, and then you'd switch to a smile.
Yeah.
immediately, just to
I
piss-
love this. I'm glad. Your car's barely making it. This is cool. I'm glad there's not a window back here. Swingers, Mike.
Ryan?
I've had enough patience. I don't have to do like a pithy line for everything to do.
No, I don't think
Okay,
so.
so Swingers is my vote.
I can appreciate it. Your next battle, your 10th seed, and stock is rising on this one, or just memory is, and it's memed, Matilda versus your 55th seed. I need somebody to tell me what Pusher is about.
Pusher is the director of Drive, Nicholas Winding Refn. It's his like come to form movie about like a drug dealer that it's crazy.
Matilda's certainly a bigger movie, and I don't know anything about Pusher, but I have just seen this musical several times.
Pusher the musical?
Pusher the musical. Matilda, and I feel like I'm so over this.
Over Matilda?
Yes, because I've seen the musical, and I know that this is not a musical, but I have just seen the story multiple times.
So that means that your wife is a fan?
It means that my nephews have been in the high school productions of this,
cute.
and then
They've
also
been
came
Matilda
out on
pilled.
Netflix, and so yeah, it's just been a whole thing. But it was a pretty big movie in '96. Ryan? Do you remember people being like blown
No.
away by this? or
I mean,
anything?
like, it turns out that when I was a certain age in '96, other people were 10. And
yeah,
so-
which is weird.
Yeah.
Do you think they did that on
Like,
purpose?
it's rude.
Be
I
my
think.
age or get fucking lost, bro.
Yeah.
Loving Drive, seeing where Nicholas Winding Refn came from sounds super interesting.
Sure. If we kicked out Pusher, I would not say that it was as egregious as Dead Man or The Craft,
Which we did push out.
which we did push out because we were pushers.
We were pushers, just like Tina Fey and Mean Girls. I'm going to make a lot of Tina Fey references the rest of my goddamn life, and you can't stop me.
No, we know that, buddy.
I'm ready to take a flyer. I think it's going to be Pusher for me.
I'm going
Ryan?
Matilda.
Oh my
Mike,
goodness.
Is this
in
the
the
first
hot
time, Mike, you
seat.
got to vote?
Yeah,
Mike,
finally,
how's
the
that
23rd
seat?
battle.
I know you're just using the edge of it, but is the edge hot?
It's a little hot. So hot, I'm leaning back. It's Pusher for me, dog.
Wow. We did it.
This is actually going to be the emails.
Yeah. Because this is when the people would be like most offended
And
by it.
I mean,
Little
I also-
Maura has a big fan base because she's sassy online.
That is true. Ruined her career, so to be sassy online. I've talked to many people, and I know that I'm an elder statesman, but I've talked to many people who are just in love with the craft, seemingly for no reason. I've never actually talked to a Matilda fan.
Yeah.
No.
The Craft's going to be the one where they just like take down the servers, you know?
But assholes, it was against that thing you do. What would you have us do?
What
Yeah.
would we do?
yeah.
All right, your final battle before we break. 23rd seed, a movie that broke me because I think I saw it this year, and I was one of those 10-year-olds Ryan aforementioned. And too young parents with weird fucking barometers of what young Mike could watch as Sleepers.
The
versus your-
sequel to Woody Allen's Sleeper, if we go by the Twisters rule.
Love it.
Yes, and your 42nd seed, which I think Greg loves, Breaking the Waves.
I saw Sleepers in theaters. This is the slammiest of D's. Sleepers is a nothing movie for garbage people.
That's my assumption. I'm just saying a fourth grader shouldn't have seen it.
I was so excited for this movie because the cast and so I read the book ahead of time, and the book at this, like, when you're at this point and you finish a book, just the fact that you finished it means you loved it, right? Like, just the accomplishment is like, well, then I like this book. I thought the book was mediocre. The movie was mediocre minus. Like, why are we even still having this conversation, Mike?
Whereas Breaking the Waves, this is one of those where Breaking the Waves makes it into the bracket, the final 16. It could take it all down. Like,
and what is Breaking the Waves about, Greg?
It is about a Scottish island, a very small insular community, and it's centered around this church, and it's centered around this very emotionally wrought young woman, and she has met a young man from off the island, and
an oilman,
yeah, because this is the Scottish islands, and that's in the North Sea. And they have oil platforms out in the ocean, and it's just about she is she's got emotional issues, but really it just seems like she feels things extremely powerfully, and it causes her to act up. And it's all about her trying to be good and what it means to actually try to be good, and what it costs to be good in the actual real world. And it's a hard watch, but it's super beautiful, and the performances in it are just I don't know, a little piece of heaven. It is just a beautifully made, highly interesting, super artistic,
this passionate
movie.
Motherfucker.
It's very important to not learn what the director thinks about his own movie.
I think that's really true. I think there is so much truth to that. Who cares what they say about it? The movies will be what they say about it.
He's so clearly a piece of shit, and not in the way that we normally talk about directors of rape and murder, but he's just such a artsy fartsy bitch. But the things that he said about this movie they piss me off and make me like the movie more. I don't. This is gonna sound like a knock or too reductive, but I already know what our segments are gonna be with this movie, and I cannot wait to have them with you guys.
I was gonna say it's clear which way it's going, but I realize we're and the cast, and Mike should have seen it. I feel like we should at least say, because we're not gonna fucking do a show about it, Ryan, who was in Sleepers? It's Kevin Bacon as a child molesting
guard, security guard, prison guard.
He's a prison guard at juvie. These kids they're playing a prank where they steal a hot dog cart. This is burned into my brain.
Casual hot dog cart prank.
Let it go down subway stairs, and it kills a dude, and so they get thrown in juvie.
Right, and it's a now and then situation where it's the four biggest child actors of the time, and then four huge actors of the time. And I want to say the adult actors like Brad Pitt, Jason Patric, who was in Speed 2 Cruise Control, so of course he's a star.
Okay, yeah.
Let's not worry about it.
Yeah.
Brad Renfro
of Tom and Huck.
And then they grow up, and then after we watch them don't watch them off camera be abused for years, they get out of juvie and then plan a murder. You ever read The Count of Monte Cristo?
I think you're going to say you ever read.
You ever read about it?
So Breaking the Waves moves on. And now we break and dine in hell. When we come back, the rest of your round one battles. Now this battle, my friends, is near and dear to my heart. Your third seed is a movie that, for good or ill, made me who I am today. Wes Craven's Scream, up against your 62nd seed.
Your movie
that made me who I am today. Rumble in the Bronx.
Come on. What?
I love the back half of the second episodes where Greg's like, what are we fucking doing?
It's almost bedtime. Let's get out.
Okay, wait. I just feel like this is part of a general kludge of multiple Jackie Chan movies that are impossible.
This was the first, though.
Okay.
I don't know if that matters, and it wasn't the first to all audiences across the world, but to this audience, these 50 states that I love dearly, and I only dress in American flags, this was our first.
This is what introduced him to America.
Color.
Yeah.
In the end of this movie, a giant hovercraft comes onto a beach, and he fights it.
And doesn't it run over him?
That's a rumble.
It runs straight over him, and it's just that actually can happen, though, because it's not...
And he handles it like when people who put the tarp over baseball
Yeah,
fields.
basically, yeah.
They
you
get caught
just
under it.
you just take it.
You got baseball Zamboni'd, the most embarrassing Zamboni.
It's just Scream,
Yeah,
I guess.
okay.
You know.
I had told Mike during the break that you and I co-conspired to kick Scream, the movie that made him, off the bracket. But I guess we're not going to do that. I guess Greg's going with Scream.
Thank you, Greg, for being a true panelist.
You know, I am a true coward. I saw this movie when I was in high school.
Oh, yeah?
I rented it and I watched it on my own.
Whoa, why?
Because you
didn't have friends.
Because I moved to Arizona.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I moved to Arizona. When I got to Arizona, I didn't have any friends yet, so I would watch movies on my own. Thanks for bringing it up, Nick.
But don't be friends with Arizonans.
Yeah, that's true. If it helps, I watched this the first time I was in 4th grade on the first landing of like stairs through bars because my sister said I couldn't hang out with her friends as they watched it. So. I also didn't watch it with friends.
But you know what?
I wonder which characters Mike related to in the movie.
We'll always include you, Mike.
Thank you. And we'll include you, Greg.
Thank you.
And Ryan. I know you had friends, but we'll include you still.
I've always had friends.
Yeah. Ryan's always been included. He doesn't have a problem with that.
Scream moves on. Next up is another battle that's near and dear to my heart. It's my choice, my thumb up the butt choice. And if you don't know what that means, you didn't listen to the last episode. Dragonheart. Sean Connery is a dragon. The second worst Quaid is the hero. And David Thewlis is a great villain. Up against a movie that I love. I saw it in high school and it warped my brain. Probably at the perfect time. And it's Crash, a.k.a. The Good One. Cronenberg's Crash.
There's no way that either one of you, Mike's pick, Greg, you're anti-Cronenberg, can make an argument for Dragonheart in this moment.
All I can say is that Cronenberg's movies are almost impossible for me to get through. And I put this movie on because I was like, I wonder if, hearing all the different premises, I was like, I wonder if this one won't be so bad. I made it like 15 minutes in. As soon as he has all those pins in his legs, I was like, adios, amigo.
Nobody even fucked the holes that the pins.
That's what I got afraid of, and I was like, I couldn't.
It
like
happens.
I could physically feel like how like off. Like I don't know. Like I can't. If you guys vote this one into the bracket, I totally understand. But I think there's only even so much of it I can even watch to try to judge.
But like, so would you vote for Dragonheart?
No, I'm not saying that. I mean, I don't want to like have my thumb on the scale too much. I just like, it's not like I don't like this movie. It's I can't physically watch this movie. Like it creeps me out and it makes me feel physically like unsafe. And
that's Cronenberg, baby.
Yeah, I know. It's to the credit of the movie. Like even
because that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, exactly. But then I'm just too I'm too sympathetic. I'm too empathetic. Well, I'm too much of a coward. Whatever it is.
I don't know if you remember, but also pretty body horror in Dragonheart. He takes his heart out, Sean Connery the Dragon, and switches it with David Thewlis's heart, and that's what causes all the problems.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of it.
You do. You see a lot of it.
This is also a very special movie for CGI because that was actually Sean Connery's face on the face of the dragon. Christ, let's move to voting.
Ryan, what's your vote?
Crash.
Greg?
And I'll say Crash, yeah.
Yeah, Crash moves on.
Into me.
Up next is another Mike movie. It was My Pink in the Air, The Truth About Cats and Dogs. Up against your 51st seed, Eraser, which is an Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie?
No, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary.
Don't laugh, because the other Arnold movie we already talked about was Jingle All the Way, dickhead. And that's not an action movie.
Man, he had 2 movies this year, both of them going to get booted out as hard as possible.
I think you once described this as like, he was like, I can do anything. And that this is like a heat check movie. That like he was like, it doesn't matter. Don't even show me the script. You'll just have me in it, and then we'll be fine. And Eraser's just like
this was it though. This was the beginning of the end because after this it goes like End of Days,
right.
The Sixth Man. Like I went and saw Eraser thinking, no, he's still tops.
Still got it.
Yeah, and this was it. The point of the movie is a big gun, big laser gun.
It's a cool gun.
Hell
right?
yeah, into it.
The rail
into it.
gun, like the personal rail gun,
And
fires through walls.
I think it's a racist thing. Probably. I can't remember. The biggest problem was that we were all playing first-person shooters that had railguns you could actually shoot people with.
Yeah.
The most important line is, of course, he shoots or punches an alligator and says, "Your luggage," which even there, you're slipping. Like it is over. I did not. I thought Truth About Cats and Dogs was like a mediocre movie that shouldn't be in the bracket. I think it should move on to the second round.
Yeah. It'll just get luggage-fied by something else, right?
Hey, there's no telling.
Your luggage.
All right, Truth and Cats and Dogs moves on. Next up, a movie I love so much, it is my welcome, Matt. Your number 19 seed, Mars Attacks, versus your 46 seed, a movie I love so much because I've seen the trailer 1,000 times on certain VHSs, The Long Kiss Goodnight.
This is the Gina Davis. She's secretly a spy.
Yeah, she shoots out the window and jumps out of it.
Remember that throws
this is the Bourne
knife.
Identity before the Bourne Identity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked this when I was a kid. I have to say, I thought this was a cool movie, and it was fun. The idea of she's just a housewife, but she has all these skills that are being awakened in her.
I mean, that's amazing. There's the part that I remember the most is that once she realizes that she's badass, she dyes her hair blonde.
Yeah.
And puts a shot glass to the side of her mouth and then rolls it across her face into her mouth. I've tried that many times. So much booze all over my shirt.
96 was just so horny.
And then also Samuel L. Jackson, which I think this is the part where he was like, yeah, 6 movies a year. I could probably do that forever.
I'll do another one. Sure. Why not?
But Mars Attacks, I think
I'm so interested in Mars Attacks and doing an episode about it.
I don't think Long Kiss Goodnight has what it takes to override the genre in the way that Mars Attacks does.
Yeah. I think it'd be fun to watch. It'd be fun to talk about, but I don't know. I just think the Mars Attack feels like a more fertile field.
If it's not Tim Burton's last great movie, it's his last interesting movie.
Yeah.
And it might be great, honestly. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah.
And
it's got that potential.
I think about it a lot.
Right? Like when
Cavalcade of characters.
When you're looking over the movies, there's some like solid ones. You're like, oh yeah, that I can remember. That's a good movie. And then there's other ones where you're like, I can't quite remember, and it's got a lot of potential.
Jack Nicholson doing an Eddie Murphy of I'll be 3 of the characters. Jack Nicholson, guys, we all love him.
Sarah Jessica Parker on a dog.
On a dog. Matthew, her husband, Matthew Broderick, next to her.
Also, he's making the universal sign of the donut.
Jack Black.
It'd be an interesting companion to Independence Day.
It really would be.
I mean, that's what we said then, and then that didn't turn out. But yeah, I would like to do these movies.
We weren't ready for it yet.
We just weren't ready.
We weren't ready. All right, voting time. Greg?
Mars Attacks.
Ryan?
Ack, which in Martian language means Mars Attacks.
It means whatever you want it to mean.
They tried to tell us.
Your next battle, your 6th seed was William Shakespeare. I can't double click on this to know if that's the full title of the movie. It's William Shakespeare Presents or William Shakespeare something. So William Shakespeare versus your 59th seed. I don't need to click in. I say this a lot to my wife. Don't be a menace in South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
It's probably Romeo and Juliet, right?
That's probably Romeo plus Juliet.
Plus Juliet.
Juliet.
What a pair. Haven't seen all the way to the end yet. Love each other. And I can just tell they're going to go on forever just loving each other.
This is, well, yeah, I saw the trailer and
yeah,
it seems fine. It seems romantic. This is a duo. It's Leo and
Claire Danes.
Claire Danes.
Yeah.
The Dane of Shakespeare versus Sean and Marlon.
You know what?
The Danes versus the Waynes.
You know what? More importantly, it is.
Got it.
This podcast is the most pro John Leguizamo podcast in the history of podcasts.
He was Tybalt. I know that just off my head.
But we've never actually done a movie that had him in it. Or we haven't done one in a long time, at least. And he is such a major part of what makes this movie go. And it's exciting to get a segment where we just like get into Johnny Legs and how important he is to us as people and as men, really.
For every John Leguizamo in this movie, there is a Jamie Kennedy right there doing Shakespeare next to him.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
There's always some like stunt casting with Shakespeare's, and sometimes it's off.
I mean, do you remember the Kenneth Branagh cast with like Robin Williams, Billy Crystal, and the Gravedigger scene?
Oh, yeah.
This is probably the Shakespeare that's going to move on. It's definitely the Shakespeare that has the bigger thumbprint of '96 over Kenneth Branagh, right?
Soundtrack,
Lerman,
the whole visual language of it.
Don't Be a Menace. Yeah,
I got nothing. I got nothing.
I remember thinking that it was Tired Then.
Yeah.
And back then, I was like all about those movies, right? Like I'd seen Boys in the Hood 1,000 times.
Oh, and Menace Society
for
course,
sure.
Yeah.
South Central, Juice, all of the movies that are in that title. But Romeo and Juliet is kind of iconic, I guess. The soundtrack is iconic.
It moves on.
It put that Shakespeare kid on the map. I've heard his name
people are like, hey, Billy,
then.
yes.
Ooh, check him out.
That's why I saw Hamlet too. 27th seed, The Birdcage, up against your 38th seed, Bound.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Why does this happen?
Cut the last 6 movies from the bracket.
This is ridiculous.
I will make you this devil's bargain right now. You don't get to know what the next 2 movies are, but they are both gone and both of these movies move forward. Shake my hand. Shake my hand right now.
Billy shakes her hand.
I would do it because I can't imagine this season without these movies.
This is fucking bull. No, I don't think we
shake
can.
My hand.
We gotta have.
Hand.
We gotta have.
We don't want to do the next 2. Just shake my fucking hand.
I don't want to do it.
Kick yourself. You're gonna hate yourself.
It's not fair the way this lined up. It feels like this is brutal.
What is Bound?
Bound is the Wachowski sisters' first movie. No, I think first, at least like right
first
before they made The Matrix.
Quote, unquote.
That's how they got the Matrix job. About 2 ladies who
lesbian erotic
move in next to each other and decide to rob from the mob. I would say Coen Brothers-esque.
It's super cool. It goes for a real intensity, and sometimes that intensity starts pushing it into like almost a little bit of an awkward territory. But honestly, it leans into it, and it usually brings it home. I feel like
oh my God, the 2 gayest movies.
That's the thing. That's what's so upsetting about it.
Shake my hands, and the next 2 movies are gone, and both of these move forward. It's my season. I get to break rules and make rules. I'm letting you do this if we want to do it.
I mean, won't they just go up against each other in the next round?
I don't know how anything works. No, in 2 rounds they'll go up against each other.
If they're gonna go up against each other anyway, the tragedy is that one of them has to. Right?
But I think we'd watch them in 2 rounds. We would watch them when they go up against each other.
I can't do it.
Right. All right.
I'm sorry.
Oh, talk about Birdcage then, just in case Bound moves on.
Birdcage was
a remake, which not a lot of people
of La Cage aux
I
Folles.
didn't know that. This is Nathan Lane and Robin Williams.
It is, and Hank Azaria. One of those 3 are gay.
Oh yeah,
and
I hadn't thought of that angle of it.
They're Nathan Lane and Robin Williams are a married couple who are having their son, Robin Williams' son,
Hank Azaria,
and a different guy, and his fiance over for dinner. Her fiance is a senator or some congressman's daughter, and wackiness ensues.
They're conservatives, so they're going to have conservatives over, and it's like, well, what are we going to do? We're a gay couple, and they're like, you know what? We'll figure something out here, but it leads to some farcical stuff, but it's so good. Robin Williams, it's maybe his best performance. Nathan Lane is amazing in it. Yeah, Hank Azaria.
Hey, Robin Williams, you are a straight guy. You're going to play gay. Be restrained. The fact that he could think all of those things in his head at the same time is crazy.
It's Mike Nichols.
Nichols.
Shit.
I think, having recently watched Bound, it's spectacular.
Yeah.
I think that it's still just a little bit too much of a genre exercise for me to like fully go against the Birdcage.
And cultural footprint.
This is fucking painful.
It's harsh, but I do think that's the way to go.
Birdcage moves on. Ryan, get ready to kick yourself. Because your 31st battle, your absurdly high 11th seed, Space Jam, is up against your absurdly high 54th seed, Broken Arrow.
It's with a bullet. It's got to be Space Jam because the field on which these two are competing against each other.
Killer
Space
soundtrack.
R. Kelly, who Mike loves.
But I honestly liked Broken Arrow. I thought it was fun.
Is this on the train? They're on a train, right?
Yeah.
They're
John
fighting
Woo,
on the train at the end?
Nuclear missile, I think. Christian Slater and John Travolta?
Christian Slater and John Travolta. Nuclear missile goes missing. It's very John Woo. It's like as hardcore
Following
John Woo as
bullets
it could
and stuff.
be. Yeah. But when you are in high school, and you're a Christian Slater fan like I was, it's good fun.
Because he's starting Cubs.
Of course, because he was in cuffs. Who wouldn't?
But yeah, I would say that cultural footprints and whatnot, this is Space Jam all the way.
There's
Yeah,
not a
like,
Broken
I mean,
Arrow
it
2
was-
starring an athlete.
The biggest movie of the year in many ways.
All right.
That
Space
sucks
Jam
though, man.
The
Yeah.
Looney Tunes and the stars of the NBA. Wow.
And Bill
Stars of the
Murray for
NBA
some
such as
reason.
Muggsy Bogues.
Muggsy Bogues.
I can name so many NBA players because of this movie. Not because of... Don't ask me to do it, though.
But I could.
Your final battle of the first round. Underrated Disney movie, The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Go.
Up against your 43rd seed, Escape from L.A.
Oh, where he surfs on lava? Or he just surfs through the
Yes.
town, right?
And there's that plastic surgeon who looks exactly like Matt Gates looks now. But
He
I
said,
gotta
give me the
say,
Escape from L.A.
I have just recently seen The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and it's beautiful. Like the way it looks is so awesome. The art, the color, the songs are only okay, but I think it's cool. I think it's worth talking about.
And it's a dark... It's like... I think it's the creepiest Disney villain they've ever had.
Yes, and like that guy's voice is awesome. The villain, and it's also like weirdly sexual. Because it's 96, and so the villain is like very much motivated by his sexual interest in Desdemona.
It's one of like 4 Disney movies that I have never seen.
You should see it, and then we should do a show about it.
Well, I'll take it over Escape from LA all day.
Yeah, Escape from LA. It ain't Escape from New York. That's one thing I'll say, Ryan.
Different coast.
Escape from LA all the time when I'm trying to leave LA. But I also live the Hunchback of Notre Dame's life.
Do you do it
as a beautiful woman having to hang out with Mike?
Do you escape from LA by surfing in the...
Typically.
Yeah.
All right. Hunchback moves on. We're going to take the quickest break, and when we come back...
Can shit get
round
real?
2. Shit will get real. Round 2, it hurts always. Your first seed is Fargo versus your 33rd seed, Bottled Rocket.
Bummer for Bottle Rocket.
Yeah, it's a bummer for Bottle Rocket.
Yeah, launched what feels like a huge segment of the industry. One man becoming his own like genre of film almost.
And I don't even know if it taught directors how to be directors, filmmakers how to become filmmakers, or AI how to create perfect trailers based on your style.
I think it taught fuckboys like us how to watch movies.
Stop being fuckboys. Start watching movies.
Can Movie of the Year do that to future fuckboys?
Teach them how to watch movies.
Yeah.
I
think
that,
so.
Yeah,
And fuck girls.
I think it can show them a way into thinking more deeply about movies. I do think that's true.
Rough draw, Bottle Rocket.
That is
sad about
rough.
this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But also like no
Come
doubt.
on.
Yeah.
Come on.
No doubt.
Fargo moves on.
Is that
Next-
an episode, or are we still around away from that?
Fargo is an episode.
That's an
These
episode.
are all now episodes.
Spoiler alert: we're gonna do a Fargo episode.
Shocking
for
everyone when they heard we were
1996.
doing 96. Next up is Ryan's Lone Star versus, let's call it Ryan's Jerry Maguire.
Shit!
Yeah,
This is
what happens, right?
Greg got 101 Dalmatians for all of
I
his choices.
did.
And why was
I
that in the
know.
bracket so often?
Yeah, that feels Greg. He's like, I don't like to put my thumb on the scale because I have been doing it for weeks in
Because I
preparation.
cheat. Because I hacked into the document by accessing it.
And that thumb is from your butt?
That thumb is right.
That's
in
his
my
butt thumb for
No,
sure.
no.
There's just... God, do you guys remember the days where like we would just have a ton of bonus episodes and just do whatever the fuck movies we
Yeah,
want?
because we had no discipline at all about it.
Oh, a Lone Star episode.
Yeah,
I would love to watch
bye.
Lone Star and learn about it, but I'm not ever.
Yeah, that ship has sailed.
And also, if Mike said, no, I'll definitely watch it, that's a lie.
Yeah,
That's a secret and a lie.
Well, What I call the Tukibuki rule is because I voted against it. You told me I was legally never allowed to see it. So now I assume that's for every movie that we vote out. Are we going through these almost too fast? I'm trying to rip the point of the second round.
The second round is meant to go quick.
Your number 8 seed Lahane versus 25 A Time to Kill.
Oh, Time to Kill sucks. I know I voted for it last time, but it's such an average movie.
Highly.
Yeah. We want to make sure we have a couple of shout outs to like film as art primarily. And a nice international film that
love that.
Gives us a great flavor for the year.
Oh, did I mention this is in black and white?
Oh, dang.
What's up, winner of this season?
Yeah, dude. I love it. Get a lot more clarity with black and white, Ryan. That's why I like it.
And in French, at some point, somebody says, in French, yeah, I killed him and I'll do it again.
Lahane moves on. Your number 9 seed, Primal Fear.
Do you guys know what Lahane means?
No.
Lahane.
Hate.
Oh, okay.
It's just a movie called Hate.
That's dope.
I waited until it was
do the
in
soundtrack?
the top 16 before I mentioned that.
Number 9, Primal Fear, which is the Edward Norton Fear movie, up against the 24th seed Cable Guy.
Is this one close to you guys at all, or am I being weird?
I have a lot of ties to one and zero to the other because I cannot ever remember. I confuse all my fear movies. That's not a
Yes, Mike, we know. We've been listening to you say that for 2 episodes straight.
I think there is a very strong temptation to squeeze through the Cable Guy, and this feels like an opportunity to do that. But I don't know that it's the right move.
It's so weird how matchups change how you think. Because before I was like, Primal Fear is an important court movie. Now I'm like, it's just a case. It's just a case. Cable Guy, is that important to comedy? Rhetorical.
It made us rethink Jim Carrey. Important then.
Maybe we let Mike decide.
I do think we are split, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
fun.
You're like afraid to say it, but you're definitely thinking it's Cable Guy.
I think I am.
Yeah, and I'm definitely saying it's Primal Fear. So
it's Primal Fear. Ryan, you're saying Cable Guy?
Kabla Gublo.
I finally matter. Kabla Gulo moves on.
Bad choice, Mike.
I don't know. Now that we've made the decision, that's going to be a good show, right? That's going to be an interesting show.
I think Mike ruined the season.
Right there.
Yeah.
Right now. In this very moment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
I tried to break it harder earlier, so.
At least they go by real
I'll
quick.
ruin it someday. Your next battle, 4th seed, Mission Impossible versus your 36th seed, the nuttiest professor.
All right, Clumps.
Awesome.
Get out of here.
Wow. This feels like a gift.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the
to
reverse.
me, Mission Impossible is the Hercules.
Oh, wow. How lucky. How nice.
52nd seed, Secrets and Lies versus your 45th seed. And this is truly, I'm going to watch the two of you fight. The People versus Larry Flint.
Fuck.
I think Secrets and Lies is a better movie. I think Secrets and Lies is one of the best movies ever made.
Best movies ever made? You could at least say best movies of the 90s.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll say I think Secrets and Lies, one of the best movies of 1996. Britain. Exclusive.
Wow, really narrowing.
Of movies that came out in September.
It is so good though. Like that, some of the acting in it is just amazing, especially because just like setting up a shot, which is just 2 actors having a conversation that takes like maybe 10 minutes, and there's no cuts in it at all, and it goes from laughing to crying to laughing again. It's a tough watch, and it's about very tough emotional stuff.
I'm a little worried about a Tukibuki thing where Greg is just bringing this movie up all season, but I have to go with Larry Flint.
I'm going to say Secrets and Lies. Should it be true to me?
I want you to be true to you.
Yes.
But I've been Milosh pilled recently, so I will also do The People versus Larry Flint.
I have to say, again, now that the decision is made, like it does fit into the architecture of the show nicely, having just in 1984 done Amadeus. And I mean, look how that did in the bracket. I mean, we know the results now.
Oh God!
Right?
What an amazing bracket!
So I think that as we look at it now, it might be interesting to look back at that.
If we could get another Milosh and another Dulce de Leche,
yeah, exactly.
What's coming up? Crazy.
Hunchback of Notre Dame, Tom Dolce, right in there. Father, Papa.
Could Tom Hulse or Holce or Dolce? Could Tom Dolce win Best Actor back-to-back years?
He could, dude. And I guess it is Hulse, right? Hulce.
I mean, the professional movie critic that we had on the show definitely said Hulse, but Mike ignored the shit out of that.
Too punk rock for professionals. Your number 5 seed Independence Day up against your 37th seed James and the Giant Peach.
Oh,
we hemmed and hawed so much about James, and we're like, oh, it'd be so good, but come on. ID4.
Now it's getting blasted.
ID4 is that important in 96?
Yes.
Dude.
I'm just asking a question.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It taught us, shouldn't you maybe destroy government buildings?
Are you guys ever like tired of what the person you're talking to is saying, so you reach over with your tentacle and grab their Adam's apple and then just control their voice box?
Yeah.
ID4 taught me that.
Data from Star
Brent
Trek.
Spiner,
We're still getting him this year anyway.
We still get a little bit of Star Trek in here.
Jeff Goldblum, Will Smith. Oh my gosh. The president flies
Bill
a plane.
Pullman.
Whoo, boy.
We fought in multiple battles for James and the Giant Peach to be here. Now we're just shitting on its head.
Yeah. No, shitting on it by not talking about it at all.
Well, we did. I mean, it's amazing. Looks amazing. It's creepy.
Blah, blah, go see it or don't. We don't care.
Who gives a shit? I will tell you the best part is the worm who's like, I used to have a brother. Then he got cut in half. Now I have 2 half brothers. Yeah, you saw the movie.
That's pretty good.
Your number 12 seed Twister. Oh, fuck me. Versus your 44th seed That Thing You Do. 44. That's so low for That Thing You Do. This is insanity.
This is not hard. Congratulations, Twister. But like we have ID4. Like, why do we need more popcorn bullshit?
So you're saying we should go for
That Thing You Do.
Congratulations, Twister. You made it this far. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
okay, good. Thank God. I thought you were like, congratulations, Twitter. Come on, easy guys.
I should talk more clearly or use different tones. I should use tones. Play tones. Because That Thing You Do.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. We are in full agreement.
We are in full agreement.
That Thing You Do gets a show.
Bastard. Yeah,
guys, we did
it.
I'm not going to quit.
Mr. White. Your number 2 seed, Train Spotting, is up against your 31st seed, Stealing Beauty, Greg.
Too bad. I don't even particularly want to watch Train Spotting because it is a bleak movie, and my feelings get hurt very easily. But it feels like it's not just that Train Spotting is a big movie. It's the cultural movement that was like the art scene in Scotland at this time, and it's fun to tap into that. If you're talking about the mid to late 90s, that was a major part of what was going on, and so it just would feel inauthentic not to.
Yeah, it's got to be in the bracket, but also or part of the Sweet 16. But also, like, I want you guys to think about if you haven't seen it since the first time you saw it, whether that was 96 or 04, if that was the first time you saw it, but that was the last time you watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're older and we know, oh, crawls through a toilet, oh, baby. When you watch it again, you realize how funny it is. You know, It is a straight up comedy with incredibly dark stuff around it.
Right.
And for recommendation, you get to go like, I recommend you read Porno, the book sequel to this.
And I recommend you watch Porno.
Sounds smart.
I do every day. I have a problem.
Very brave of you, Mike.
What a patriot.
To say that for some reason.
Train Spotting moves on. Next up, and this is really going to hurt Greg. Greg's Big Night versus Greg's Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, no. Oh, wow. I don't, okay. I will be, as a guy who's watched both of these just today.
You're like me with Porno. You do it every day.
I'm going to say that I think ultimately Big Night, you keep waiting for it to be better. There are 2, maybe 3 extremely good scenes, but there are a bunch of scenes that connect it where you just keep thinking it's going to be a little bit better than it is, and maybe that's not fair to it. But I just thought it would be a little more charming, a little bit funnier. Ghost in the Shell. This feels like an opportunity Not because you guys are going to be blown away and like it so much. It's a deeply philosophical action cartoon that is so. The story is so complex. I don't think it totally makes sense. But visually, it's so striking and stunning, and I just think it would make for a great episode.
And I mean, are they the same movies? Because one is Ghost in the Shell and one is Ghost Cow, what I call beef in the shell, like if you're making ravioli for an Italian dinner.
I don't think
makes you think.
I think they're pretty different, actually.
Oh, it doesn't make you think.
No, not me. I refuse to think about that.
I think it's laughably ridiculous. I think it's the height of too muchery to put one of our chosen movies into the Sweet 16, but it's Big Night.
Ryan, that's your vote. That's
my vote.
So split vote, Mike. What do you think?
Yeah, if we're talking about iconography and 96, and I've heard of one of these and haven't until today. Heard of Big Night, so Ghost in the Shell moves on.
Heck yeah, we're gonna get to watch it like 3 times that week, you guys,
all together in the screening room.
And
as we do,
I can't wait to see which one of you likes it and which one of you hates it, because I think at least one of you will like it, but certainly one of you.
I think that our good friend Taylor will be Greg will force him on that episode, so 2 of us like it.
Guest.
Based on a lot of jokes, based on not truth at all, but here I will make a vow just to be fully above board. I will watch Ghost in the Shell
without
alone.
Your wife?
Without my wife. You fuckers.
That's terrible that we made that happen, but it's so true.
Your number 7 seed from Dusk Till Dawn. This one, does it hurt? I don't know. Versus your 39th seed, Swingers.
It's
hard-ish.
I think it's hard because neither one has a chance in hell of taking it down. But
right.
What is the most? One is written and starring Quentin Tarantino, which is it's hard to get more 96 than that. The other is, created a thing like
Iron Man wouldn't be around without Swingers. Facts.
Then we'd have no MCU. I think I know which one. I think I got it.
For me personally, I think From Dusk Till Dawn is a scotch overrated. And I just think that Swingers had some sort of effect on this group of people. And so
I just want to have an episode of our podcast just doing Vince Vaughn lines.
Of course. Yeah, that'll be the whole show.
But we don't only want to represent our people. You're forgetting about the vampires who, From Dusk Till Dawn, made a very big impact on.
I would never forget about the vampires. And I will never forget the last shot of From Dusk Till Dawn. That was seared into my brain in a way that few final shots ever have been. So
just I don't think we're going to solve that vampire problem anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't think so, guys.
Also, Swingers does not have Salma
Hayek.
That is
doing the
very
dance.
96 of the movie.
But Swingers does have Heather Graham.
Yes. A beautiful time in Hollywood, everybody. I think I'm ready. I think
Greg, lock it in.
Like I said to my wife, I think I'm going Swingers.
Ryan, what did you say to your wife?
Like I said to my daughter at the playground, I think we should be Swingers.
You guys are so wrong. That's crazy.
Is that would you have voted otherwise?
From Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah.
He loves Monster Movie Man.
I'm a Monster Movie Man, and I have been Hayek pilled my whole entire life. So
yeah,
just let her cook.
Number 55, Pusher versus number 42, Breaking the Waves.
Cool, Pusher.
Breaking the waves.
Honestly,
getting here. That was cool.
Yes, Breaking the Waves though.
I feel like Mike, if you need us to say more about Breaking the Waves, we will. But
I'm excited to watch
chant. I used to art. Like
Dogma 90. Have we had a Dogma 95 movie?
What does that mean?
There's that movement, 1995 of you can't make movies with any, you can't add any sound, you can't have any sound effects, you can't have any special effects, you can't do any editing tricks. You just have to. If you watch Breaking the Waves, it looks like it's filmed on a home video camera.
It's interesting though because
no outside light.
He actually works against that with the weird interstitial things where he then has like hyper music, hyper composed shot with like actual special effects like in a normal shot. It's funny the way that he works against that.
Plus,
too.
We'll wait to talk about the ending, but that ending was not actually filmed. They did not go up there to do that. So.
Let's not talk about it yet.
Okay.
They didn't break those waves. Breaking the Waves moves on. Next up, this one does hurt, mostly because I love to watch my friends squirm, but it is your 3rd seed Scream versus your 35th seed Crash.
Oh,
Greg,
hell yeah. Greg stays winning. Greg heads get it done.
Mike, I'll shake your hand if you move the bracket around.
Shake my hand. You shake my hand right now. Space Jam moves on. Neither Scream nor Crash are in the final 16.
This sucks, dude. We wanted that Greg Crash show.
Okay, but check this out. I'm so excited about the Scream show. Isn't that worth something?
No, it's barely a horror movie.
I know. That's why I like it. It's like dressed up like a horror movie. It's so fun. It's like it really is. As for like people like me, I know it's like the characters talk about their love of horror movies, and so it feels like it's for people who love horror movies. But because it's not really that scary, it's for people like me to get to kind of pretend.
Yeah,
this is what it would be like to watch a scary movie.
Yes, like Care Bears 2. The scariest of the Care Bear movies.
Right.
It's a scary movie. Just trust me.
It's a scary movie. It was original title. Fun fact that most people know.
Scream.
14th seed, The Truth About Cats and or Dogs versus your 19th seed, Mars Attacks.
And there we have our Mars Attacks episode, everybody. Just like that.
The truth about Martians and humans. Yeah, if we're not, none of us are getting a movie in here. Like, none of us are getting a movie in
defense. Cute. No, dude, it's because Mars Attacks is an opportunity. This is going to be a good episode, a good show.
And if we're not doing Secrets and Lies, we're not doing truths about neither cats nor dogs. So, yeah, Mars Attacks.
I'll watch it on my own. I don't give a shit.
Truth about cats and dogs, they love scritches. There. Spoilers.
That is true. You basically got the movie now.
They love good scritches.
Mars Attacks moves on. Your penultimate battle of this evening. Number 6 seed, Baz Luhrmann's William Shakespeare's Romeo's Juliet. Up against your 27th seed, The Birdcage. I can tell you which one I'd rather watch.
Yeah, tell us.
I don't like Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah.
I mean, I would much rather watch The Birdcage.
Do we want to do a movie about it? Like, Shakespeare film? That doesn't sound fun to me.
And I'm just going to say,
we're just going to shit on Baz's head
right?
the entire time.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
They talk weird, right? Like, the whole time watching it,
I bite my thumb at you, sir. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Doth?
What are you talking about?
Stop saying doth to me.
Yeah.
Doth? It's pronounced dove. And they fly.
And the Birdcage, I'm like, oh, I get this.
We're doing such a good job of kicking out a very iconic movie, just slowly talking each other into it.
Yeah, like, haha, wouldn't it be silly?
Is it that iconic anymore, though?
But
I feel like it.
Leonardo DiCaprio is the star of this movie, Mike.
No, it's not that it's not iconic. Isn't The Birdcage iconic though? Mike Nichols, I mean, that's like we're talking like film.
I don't know. If we were true to the format of this show, Romeo and Juliet should move on. It's just
but that's why there's
so
always
often
16.
we're not true.
Okay, what is
not
that?
True.
What's going to be the better episode?
Birdcage for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe Mike, as the host, you might want to bring in a guest that isn't like us for the Birdcage. Maybe
a bird. I got it.
Talk about it. Yeah,
a bird lover. Producer Dave will be on the show.
Please don't do that. But Romeo and Juliet. Like, it's tired. We've seen it. We've done it. Let's move on. Nobody talks about the Birdcage anymore in a good way.
Yeah, we're not going to get our Johnny Legs segment. Johnny Legsment.
I bet he pops up in one of these movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 90s, it was hard to keep him out of a movie. All right.
You should see the seedings of these Sweet 16.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Birdcage moves on. We didn't even vote. I'm not even going to put the pressure on voting. I'm just saying, with the way we talked, we all know what moves on. Your final battle of round 2. The final movie to make it into the Sweet 16. Shit for children. It's 11th seed Space Jam versus 22nd seed The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh.
Bound.
No, your time to shake hands is over.
You passed up on that.
If I had $1 every time Mike screamed that at me.
I really, really, really think we should do Hunchback.
Yeah, it's a movie, I think.
Yeah, I think the Space Jam is not a movie. I've watched it recently. It is just trash.
Michael Jordan is better at baseball than he is at acting.
You know what it is?
Oh, did you hear how knowledgeable?
Honestly, that was pretty good. It's very dispiriting. Whereas Hunchback of Notre Dame, like I think like it'll be fun that week to watch it a few times, and it's going to give us things to talk about. And there's things about it that are uncomfortable. And
is Muggsy Bogues in Hunchback?
I don't know that
in the background.
I'm going to go to Google Hill and reflect on this and see if I can remember seeing him. But like, it's so pretty.
How many Disney movies have we done?
Not many.
We did Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, that almost
Monsters University. We all remember that episode.
Pixar, yeah, we did Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not doing Space Jam.
And honestly, it's a maligned, forgotten.
Yeah.
And from like the opening shots of it, it's like, okay, this looks really cool.
And also our podcast mascot, Holche de Leche, has to be in this season.
Hell yeah, his sweet little voice.
Leche.
This is 12 years later. He sounds 12 years younger. Papa, I have a song in my soul and a hunch on my back.
That song, the And Out There. That's a great song.
Yes. And the bad guy, like, it's just so fun. His voice is amazing. It's one of the more interesting Disney bad guys of all time.
All right, we're doing Hunchback.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Gents, your Sweet 16 that will be in your 1996 season. One of these will be your movie of the year.
Oh my gosh.
Will it be La Haine, Fargo, Jerry Maguire, The Cable Guy, Mission Impossible, That Thing You Do, The People vs. Larry Flint, Independence Day, Ghost in the Shell, Swingers, Trainspotting, Breaking the Waves, Mars Attacks, Scream, The Birdcage, or The Hunchback of Notre Dame?
That's no other, like, any other three people would have picked wildly different movies.
I think so. When he said The Cable Guy, Ryan and I just looked at each other.
Yeah. What? That happened? It did.
I think that this list has been Mike, Ryan, and Greg Pild.
Yes. We were so finally fully alive and aware as a triumvirate.
I'm so interested in that Cable Guy show. What in the world? How are we going to do that?
I mean, the good news is that there's only 1 week that I'm not looking forward to. So out of 16, that's pretty great.
Which one are you not looking
Ghost in the Shell,
to?
of course.
Come on, it's going to be fun.
You loved Akira, dude. I'm shocked
I did not love Akira.
Don't you shit on me that about me. Did.
I don't think you guys are going to like Ghost in the Shell, but I do, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun
Bound.
to watch.
We'll watch Bound instead that week.
Is it directed by Miyazaki?
No, but
then you've lost us.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know who was directed by the...
What is the most surprising movie to not be on this list?
Oh, wow. Let's look at the participants.
It got bounced really early, but I kind of feel like The Craft.
Yeah.
It got bounced right away and kind of unceremoniously, but that's the one where I feel like we are going to tell our wives which ones made the cut and which didn't, and that The Craft's not going to be on it, and they're going to be like, you're boys. You're just boys. Like,
You're
you are
silly,
so
dumb
terminally
boys.
But that's not true because we kicked out Primal Fear, which I think is weirdly a boys movie, and kind of a big deal back then. Matilda was highly seated, but I don't know if it was
too
appropriate. High. It was too high.
I'm bummed about The Frighteners.
The Frighteners sucks. And then I think a big one, but I think that like we were cool and honest about From Dusk Till Dawn. Like, it did its thing, but like Sweet 16, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like Angela Bassett?
For this particular show, I think that you could argue that is a surprising omission.
Yeah.
So.
And the fact that Lone Star, which is a slightly Coen, but not really Coen Brothers movie by John Sayles, didn't make it. I think that's crazy.
Well, Taste Buds, I cannot wait to go on this long journey with you. We will watch these movies. When we talk about the fashion of 96, we will talk about the hot boys, the hot girls.
The mixtape?
The mixtape is going to be so fun.
The mixtape.
So much ska and swing.
Have you guys heard of the New Radicals? Because you're about to.
Well, you better get what you give, my friend. It's going to be a mighty year, and maybe people will look on this year a little more fondly than they currently do now. That is my hope. Greg, thank you. Ryan, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
And a final word of wisdom is just to keep watching those movies. I don't like that at all. It turned me on a little.